Take 3. I have to do a blooper reel.
What is your name?
Taylor Lynch.
What is your accomplishment?
Running a full marathon, which is 26.2 miles.
Do you have any other accomplishments besides that one?
Yes, I have run a couple of half marathons. I've done some 5Ks and 10Ks. I have other things that I feel like are accomplishments, like getting a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. I'm also a wife and a mom.
What was your favorite part of achieving your accomplishment?
My favorite part of the entire marathon would be crossing the finish line and getting this medal.
Did you ever want to quit or give up during your accomplishment?
Yes, there were definitely times that I wanted to give up. I thought it would just be easier to quit. I had been training for about 8 months before I ran my race, and that is a really long time to train. And so, I had spent a lot of weekends running. I would run during the week, and there were definitely times where I just thought it would have been a lot easier to give up, but I didn't.
During your life so far, what has been the biggest goals you set that you were able to achieve?
Definitely this marathon. That's been one of my biggest goals so far, and after a lot of training and perseverance, I achieved the goal.
What did you have to do to achieve that goal?
So like I said, I trained for about 8 months. I found a running plan that I wanted to follow, and every week I would run. The weekends I would do long runs. And then I also did cross training, where I didn't just run during the week, but I also lifted weights and did other exercises that helped prepare me for the race. And I just had to really stick to the training program. And if there were ever weekends where I wasn't able to run, I'd have to make up for it at another time. And so it was really busy, and it was a lot of hard work.
Where did you get your inspiration from?
So my very first half marathon that I did, I ran it with my friend Mary Ellen, and we made a promise. This was about 5 years ago. We told each other we would complete a full marathon before we turned 30 years old. And so Mary Ellen turns 30 next year, and I turned 30 in 2 years. So we knew now was the best time to do it for both of us, and so that was my inspiration. My friend Mary Ellen, she got me out on that race trail, and we did the race together.
Were there any obstacles that got in your way? If so, how did you handle that? What about people? Were there any people who discouraged you while reaching for a goal?
There were definitely obstacles that got in the way. It is tough having a full-time job and being a wife and being a mom to balance everything. And so that was something I really had to work on. I relied on a lot of other people, relied on my husband and our family to help watch Jackson when I needed to go run. And, there were a lot of times where I was just tired, or I could have made up 100 excuses or reasons why I didn't want to run or didn't want to train. And so those were definitely obstacles. And about the last month of my training, I hurt my knee. And so that was a big obstacle, because I had to kind of back off of the training a little bit. I didn't want to hurt myself even more than I'd already had hurt it. And that was definitely an obstacle. And yes, there were people who were not very encouraging. They told me I was crazy for running a full marathon, and told me it wasn't good for my body to do that. But there were also a lot of people who were very encouraging, and so I just tried to let the encouraging words stay in my mind, and the discouraging words to kind of go away.
Did you ever think of giving up? How did you overcome that feeling?
Yes, I definitely felt like giving up during the race itself. 26.2 miles is a long time. I was out there on the race trail for over 6 hours. And the thing about this race is you go out and back 2 times. So you have people who are doing the half marathon and the full marathon. That first out and back, there are a bunch of half marathoners that are crossing the finish line. and all the marathoners have to turn around at that finish line and go back and run 13.1 more miles. And mentally, that is really hard because you've got all these people who are excited to be finishing, and there you are, you've got to go a whole nother loop. And so that was hard. And about mile 16, it really hit me that I was tired. I did not want to be out there any longer. I really just wanted to break down and cry. And I just had to tell myself, okay, you've only got 10 miles left, even though it felt like an eternity. But I knew I might never get to this point in my life again. I may never get to the point where I'm about to finish a marathon again. And I didn't want to give up right then. I knew if I gave up, I would look back and I would regret that decision for as long as I can remember. So it was really important to me just to prove to myself that I could do it and to not give up. And to prove to other people too, especially the people who weren't so encouraging. You know, I was able to come back and say, hey, guess what? I finished that marathon. I may be crazy like you think I am, but it's off my bucket list now, and I know that I've done something that not a lot of people say they can do.
When you achieved that goal, how did it help you, Emily?
I guess it just helps me to know that no matter what I set my mind to, I can achieve it. No matter how crazy the goal may seem, it's possible to achieve whatever I set my mind to. And I think it will help me in my job, as a mom, as a friend, as a wife. It will help me just to know, to be encouraging to other people. And, you know, I can give advice one day when my little boy has a goal he wants to set. You know, this is an example I can use for him and tell him, hey, this is what I set this goal to run a marathon once, and I did it. And it took me a long time, but I finished it. And so I think, you know, it's important to help other people through what I achieved, and just to know that no matter what life throws my way, mentally and physically, I can get through it because I finished a marathon. All right. You have any other questions?
No.
No?